Right, it's Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast. Again, draft related this time, looking at the 2026 draft. Pre-season, I did a piece on each position, and these are the October updates. And in this one, I'm updating you on how the defensive tackle class looks. Um, so I said pre-season as we head into 2025 season, the answer as to whether there are this is a strong candidate or not was that there are two round one level defensive tackle candidates and three round two candidates. And I could see the average of 11 to 12 going in the first four rounds. So that made it a pretty standard class, really. So has that picture changed after the first month of action? I mean, my notes were done on this before last weekend's action, and this is on Monday, the 13th of October. I'm recording this. So if anything happened over the last weekend, I haven't factored into my considerations for this October update, just to make you aware of that. So, who is the top candidate right now? And the round one guy, the number one is still the same guy, Peter Woods Jr. at Clemson. Um, Pre-season, I said he had the versatility to play anywhere across the D line, but may end up being seen as the best interior D lineman in this class. Top notch against the run and pretty effective against the pass. Best attributes, speed and agility to allow them to beat opponents to the first point of contact. Still room for improvement technically, but if he shows the expected level of development this coming season, could not only be the best D lineman in his draft, but could earn himself a top five pick in round one. Well, that top five pick status might be a bit dubious now because, like Clemson, he has not had the greatest start to the season. He's done okay. I mean, I think he's done pretty well on a struggling team. Um, his draft prospects are not on the slide yet, but he might need to start upping his performance, and the same applies to Clemson if he's to maintain his hopes of a top 10 overall draft selection. But he's still the top guy in his class right now for me. The second guy, that's unchanged as well. Still in round one, Caleb Banks, senior at Florida. Um, Pre-season, I said he'd had 2 quiet years at Louisville, transferred to Florida, come into his own since. Huge human being at 325 and 6'6", um, whose his power and technique allow him to dominate opponents. He has great lateral movement, has improved his technique year on year. Again, another one that if the improvement continued, he could earn himself a round one selection. And I'm just going to check where he is right now on my overall big board. I've got him at 27 right now. So it's still a tail end of round one. Um, he's only played in one game this season, dealing with a lower body injury. As such, his hold on that late round one selection is becoming tenuous until he gets back on the field and produces. Right. Last of the round one guys, and I think I've got him at 30 on my overall draft. We're just checking that yet. Is Kristen Miller Jr. at Georgia, 6'4", 305 pounds, redshirted as a freshman. Um, 41 tackles, 2.5 sacks in 25 games across those last season. Moderate sack numbers, um, and draft buzz rate him as an excellent run defender, but also strong as a pass defender. So, those sack numbers kind of reflect that. Um, they also expressed draft buzz. This was when they scouted him. They also expressed concerns about his ability to play at high levels late in games as he was getting tired, and his durability following shoulder surgery this off season is a question mark. Abilities as a run stuffer alone could get him into round three of the 2025 draft, was what I thought first pre-season. But if he can show greater durability all around and improve his pass rush abilities, he could well get himself into round one. And that's where I have him now. Even though he's made a quiet start to the 2025 season, but the absence of Banks may have opened up his chances of getting into round one. So they're the three that I've got in round one. Like I say, Miller's at 30 on my overall big board, and I'm scanning down to see where the next guy is, and he comes in at 50. So there's a gap between Woods and the next two, and then there's a gap between um, them and the following pack. And the next guy I've got up is at 50 on my draft board. Sorry, just checking that, double checking. Got to check these things. So yeah, around about mid round one, I've got Darrell Jackson Jr., senior of Florida State. Spent his freshman year at Maryland before transferring first to Miami and then to the Seminoles. Missed all he missed all but one game of the 2023 season, resulting in him redshirting and using his junior year of eligibility in 2024. 32 tackles and 3.5 sacks last season. His technique and production is far from consistent, but he's a mammoth defensive tackle, 6'5", 330 pounds. He entered the draft for 2025 and then withdrew. And with his fellow D lineman Joshua Farmer now in the NFL, Jackson has the field to himself this season, but he'll need to shine to keep that mid-2 round selection. He's made a good start to that this season and he's still on course for a midday 2 selection right now. And again, another one in the middle of round 2 is Dante Corleone. So the top 5 are unchanged from pre-season for me. He's a senior at Cincinnati, unsurprisingly called the Godfather. 2-year starter for the Bearcats with 110 tackles, 9.5 sacks in 34 games across his 3 seasons in Cincy, but only 2 as a starter. Explosive type with elite athleticism, and as such will likely light up the combine in 2026, so watch out for that. But he's another whose performance levels can dip during games, indicating a lack of stamina and durability, possibly. He's also an out-and-out ball rusher and needs to develop a wider array technically to thrive at the next level. And this season he's just getting up to speed after missing a couple of games hurt, but has played well when he has been on the field. And right now, like I say, I've got him in the middle of round 2. So, next. And again, I'm just checking because he's a new. And this guy's right now, top end of round 3, but he's on the rise and could well get into round 2. There's a new name I didn't include in pre-season, but he's had a really strong season. It's Amaury Washington, Junior, Oregon, 6'3", 330 pounds. He's been a key part of Oregon's perfect start to the 2025 season. Again, I wrote this before they lost this weekend, and as such has jumped into my rankings at 6, and as such right now would be an early round 3 pick. Right. 7, and we're still in round 3 here. Dominique Orange, senior, Iowa State. Good old-fashioned nose tackle. Excellent against the run. Has some physical limitations that could hurt him come the combine, but is a real force to be reckoned with for opposing interior O-linemen to worry about. Round 2 was a possible. I've got him at round 3 at the moment after a quiet start to the season and getting hurt in the Arizona game. They keep him at 7 in my defensive tackle rankings now, and that puts him in round 3. Another round 3 guy and another new name. Caden McDonald, Jr. at Ohio State, didn't get in my preseason list. He's 6'3", 326 pounds, 24 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. Mark a really strong start to 2025 for McDonald. If he continues to produce at the level he currently is operating at, he could move further up draft boards, especially considering most of those above him on my list are not doing much to improve their prospects right now. So, moving into, I've covered round 3 rounds in my initial list. I've kind of gone into round 4 here with some names that have dropped down from a preseason list. Starting with, he was 6 in my preseason list, Zane Durant, senior at Penn State. Drops to 9 on my defensive tackle list as he doesn't seem to have developed in the way required thus far this season. So my notes on him pre-season were stats of 42 tackles and 3 sacks last season. He's on the small side for an NFL defensive tackle at 6'1" and 290 pounds, but really powerful and unsurprisingly quick for the position given that size. He uses that power to stand up as a run defender, but his physical tools will probably give him a higher upside as a pass defender, but he needs to develop his technique and skills to maximise those innate abilities. So he went into 25 looking like a developmental type, but hasn't really shown that development so far. Hence he's dropping to round 4. Another guy dropping into round 4, another Clemson defensive tackle, DeMonte Capehart, in his senior year. He's doing okay on that struggling Clemson team. if the team starts to play better, he could easily start to move up boards. But at the moment, he's suffering perception-wise as his team struggles. Two new names that are on the periphery of my attention at the moment. Xavier Harris, senior at Ole Miss, spelled Zxavian, not easy to say, and Lee Hunter, another senior at Texas Tech. They've both made bright starts to the season, and if they can continue that, they'll move themselves further up and get into contention for day 2 picks. And the final one, who was 8 on my previous list and has dropped down into round 4, is Tim Keenan, the third senior at Alabama. He's had an ankle injury and he's doing very little and has done very little in the 2 games he has played. So that's dropped Keenan to 13 on my defensive tackle rankings from 8. And he needs to get back to his previous levels if he is to move back into day 2 contention. So that's the defensive tackle class as I see it at the moment. 13 possibles there. Some on the some hold, but the top end haven't really done a lot to boost their claims. So there's still room for people to make moves up into the higher end of this list, I would suggest. But that's the October update. Next up on the positional sweep will be the D ends and outside linebackers that I group together under the umbrella title Edge guys. So I'll have a look at them next. All right, see you soon.